Hello everybody, and in today's video I want to talk to you about how to use relative pitch. Not perfect pitch, because I have relative pitch. Relative pitch to help you transcribe, figure out chords, figure out things that people are doing. We don't have a regular MIDI file. In fact, we don't have a MIDI file today. But what I do want to do is outline the differences of this. Rick Beato talks about it extensively and how in many cases relative pitch is way better than perfect pitch. Not only is it faster, but it could be learned, whereas perfect pitch, we have, I don't remember the stats, I'll put them on the screen somewhere, but not that many people have perfect. But relative pitch, you can train your ear. You can actually get relative pitch and you can use it to do exactly what I'm doing in Transcribe. So I just kind of want to outline what I'm doing, kind of the way I use it, and what I want to do is get these people who followed instructions at the end of this video, because they submitted links in this video. I get links all the time, but in this video is where I actually asked for it, and so basically I asked them to include the YouTube link the minute that they wanted me to do, and then I want to be able to the people who have done this, to be able to acknowledge them and to be able to at least do some of what they've asked me to do. So it looks as if I will be doing Quentin. I'm going to look at yours. You have 3 thumbs up there. Terrell, you guys stay tuned. Okay, Lucas, we'll try to get to you guys. I may not be able to get all of the links that are in this video, but I'm only looking at this section, because this is the section where I asked for links to be submitted. For those of you who are wanting personal, I do personal transcriptions now. I'm not going to say it right now. I'll probably drop the address for that in the description area somewhere so you can see that. Right now, I'm only trying to show you how I use relative pitch. But first, before we get into this, let's talk about the difference between perfect and relative just a little bit, at least in my mind. This is all over the internet, but I'm the one transcribing these people, so I want to say it from my own opinion and perspective on what this is. And I use 3 things to help me. Well, not 3. There are 3 things that you could use, that one could use to help them to learn something completely by ear. The first thing that they can use is perfect pitch. Perfect pitch means that, or absolute pitch means that they do not need any kind of a reference point. That when somebody plays a note, let me take this piano off the screen, that they know that note, they know what that note is. Can you tell what this note is? Vote on the screen. What do you think this note is? Now, let's do something else. I'm going to tell you what this note is. But first, well, yeah. We'll do that. You should have voted by now. Okay, so here's a note. So what note is that? Okay, you see what the note is. Now, watch this. This is important, what I'm about to do here. I'm taking this away. And now I'm going to play a note. What note is that? Well, is that easy? Are you able to figure that out? Well, some of you are saying, what is he doing? Like, isn't that what we just played? Yes, but how did you know that? How did you know that? See, what you're using right now is pitch memory. You are using pitch memory because you may remember that note was a B flat, and you know that I did not change it. Now keep this in mind. This is important. I didn't change my note. That is pitch memory, not perfect pitch. So I have somebody who comes to me, they'll start singing a song, and they remember that someone asked a question. They remember that it starts on an A flat. And they can come after having rehearse that song all night, come to me the next morning, and without any kind of piano, start singing. I know what an A flat is. A flat. I got it. I have perfect pitch. No, you don't have perfect pitch. Okay? You just have the ability to remember that pitch. That is not perfect pitch. That's you just remember the note. Okay? And I have a pretty decent pitch memory. I know that's D flat. I know that's E. I know that's A. That's not perfect pitch. That's pitch memory. Now we really need to clarify the difference between those, because the people who have great pitch memory are lumped in with the people who have perfect pitch. But stats show us that you're more likely to walk into a dying elephant in the middle of the road having a baby than you are to walk into somebody who has perfect pitch. So we really need to, and everybody says they have perfect pitch. You know, by now everybody, oh, I got perfect, I got it. No, we don't. Okay, so there's pitch memory. Now, if I know that this is a B flat, then I know that this is a C minor 7 chord. That is not perfect pitch. That is relative pitch. Because I knew what this note is, my relative pitch told me that that was a minor third down, that note was a E flat major chord. And I heard all of those, listen to me, I heard all of those notes in relation to the B flat. Without the B flat, I wouldn't have known what that was. But because I heard the B flat, I heard the C minor 7 because of relative pitch, not perfect. And it's possible that someone without a given reference note can use both pitch memory in conjunction with relative pitch, get them an entire chord without touching the piano, which is what I do, but I don't have perfect pitch. And what I want to do is I want to demonstrate to you I want to do something I haven't played before, so you can see none of these have been clicked. And what I want to do is I want to just kind of show you how I would find the key, somebody's key, without playing a bunch of notes. Let's put this to the side here. Okay. Then I'm going to put the piano here. Because what I'm doing right now, I do not have perfect pitch, but I'm going to figure out what key they're in and come right in and play with them. Now, I know I have to do songs that I know, obviously, and then I'm going to talk to you about what I did. Okay, let's do this. I need the, let's see what he has here. That's a note. I don't know what that note is. Duh, I don't know. I'm guessing it's a D, but it could be a D flat. Okay, because my tonal memory is not. I'm just not able to tell what that note is. So. Okay, so that's. So I'm gonna guess. All right, now let's do this without perfect pitch here. I'm going to guess that that's D flat, and the reason I'm going to guess that is because it sounds similar to the beginning of Total Praise using tonal memory. Now, I definitely don't have, because I wouldn't have hesitated if I had perfect pitch. I'm just kind of I'm using pitch memory and trying to remember a song that is in that same key. Let me try another one here. Total Praise. That's total praise. Okay, so it's lower. So it's lower. You see that? Now total praise is in D flat, which would be higher, which would be. But listen to this. So how would I be able to just come in with him? This one's a little bit easy for me because the reason I can tell what this is because the note was so close to the original that it sounds directly underneath the original note. So now I'm going to be able to come in with him without anything, right? So let me do this. I'm going to come in on the, I'm going to come in right here. See that? So that can fool people because they, oh, he has perfect pitch. He just got on the piano and started playing. I don't have perfect pitch. That's not. What does that have to do with perfect pitch? The fact that, and this is why so many people can be fooled with this because they just because you've developed your ear like you're supposed to, doesn't mean that you have perfect pitch. It's relative pitch, I believe, that's going to help you to be a better musician. But we don't have to have. Everyone doesn't have to have perfect pitch. But relative pitch is what I'm using to transcribe, and I need to explain that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my relative pitch and show you how it's going to help me to transcribe some of the links that of the songs that people have asked me to do. Okay, so the first one that we're going to look at will be let's see what we have here. Quentin Hillary. You should do Alan Merville, Fooling Around in E. So let's look at that and see. Okay, so you can see that this one is just straight bananas. There's only a 25-second clip here. And using the ear for this means that, again, I'm not using perfect pitch. To be honest with you, perfect pitch, if I had perfect pitch, I probably wouldn't be able to teach it as well. Because relative pitch is going to have to tell me what these chords actually are. And in order to kind of figure out what he's doing, that's something that relative pitch is going to help with. Let's start from the beginning here. So, because see, if I can't, I have to be able to sing the melody. And so the way that I start is that I isolate the melody that I'm trying to bring out in the particular progression. So if you can look at this, if you can hear that melody. So, yeah, do you hear that? So, and then he trills up to the B. So for now, here's what I'm hearing here. Okay, oh, let me, why is this thing not on here? Is there a way to... Okay, perfect. Maybe that will work. Okay, so here we have, and give me a second here. Okay. Okay, so. Okay, so. So that's what I'm hearing. Now, some of you may be asking, well, what are the chords behind it? How are you going to figure those out? And again, relative pitch in theory is what I use. I don't necessarily use perfect pitch. So that is the reason why I'm able to teach after I do these, because I'm having to use a great bit of theory. So the theory that I'm going to go for in this particular case is that he's using a what I would call a 5-1 progression. The 5 would be the F sharp, and the 1 would be the B. Now again, that's not even what he played, but I'm showing you how a person who actually is transcribing these people is thinking. And so basically, even though he didn't play that, that's what I'm going to use to figure out what those chords are. Because check this out. That right there, right? I don't want to mess around and go. Alright, so some people would do that. But see, I don't believe that that's what he did. It sounds good. It really does. But see, that's not it. So that's not it. This is where the 5-1 helps me. Because if I look at it as a 5-1, then I'm going to need to use a dominant 7th chord. And the dominant 7th chord for this would be, right? So I'm going to kind of base it off of those notes. So I know that this is at the beginning. I'm going to kick this off here and I'm going to get this B here. So see that? So it's not me using ear so much as just an acknowledgement of the theory behind what he's playing. And because I believe that what he's doing was this. Actually, he trilled up to the D. Okay, so listen to that. See? And let me hear that one more time. Make sure I get those. Yeah. Let me keep going on till we get to the next part. Okay, so that's what I'm hearing. And only because in this particular sense, you know, I could have gone that it could be that, but I'm not hearing a minor. I'm not hearing a minor chord here. I'm hearing a major chord. So this is relative pitch telling me the quality of the chord that's being played in this song at that particular moment. See? You hear that? So my ear has to be able to pick up that particular chord is a major chord that's inverted. And then when he goes on up to that, so da, 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 and again, this is how I do it. This is slowly, and you know, and sometimes I may spend a while on a song before I even start transcribing it, you know, to kind of hear, you know, kind of try to figure out what's going on. So that's what I'm hearing. So it may be a temptation to do that, but I'm hearing. Now, is that B in there or not? That's what perfect pitch would have to tell me. You understand? Because that kind of is a very difficult thing to try to figure out. And in those situations, I really do make a guess, basically whether I think it should be in there or not. I mean, I'm thinking it's maybe even that. Yeah, so I'm gonna go for this. So, and then, all right, now let's see what he's gonna go on next. That's beautiful progression though. So what I would do in a chord like this, again, those of you who think I'm just some kind of a mad scientist genius who I'm just picking out chords off the top of my head, I don't know what those chords are. I'm going to guess that the melody line is going like this. That's because that's what I hear. And I can sing that. See, so I hear that. And that's what we do when we're just playing by ear normally. We would play that. Now, let me get the bass notes. Okay, so let me get that bass. So, that's what I'm hearing there. So let's put those together. So now, I just have to fill in the rest of the chords. I'm not going to use perfect pitch to fill in the chords because then I would have to fill in note by note. And I'm not hearing note by note. That's crazy for me to hear that. So basically, now, if there's a chord that is not in my vocabulary, I can't play it. Which is why I said theory has to be it. These chords have to be a part of what I'm already playing. Something that's already in my vocabulary. Now, I've been playing for over 30 years. Obviously, I'm going to have a wider vocabulary than someone who's been playing for 5 years. If someone who's been playing for 5 years and, you know, somebody plays a chord outside of their vocabulary, then no, of course they can't hear that chord because it may not be a chord that they are familiar with, right? Now, I'm hearing, right? This is what I'm hearing. But what I'm really hearing are the sus chords. Now he didn't play the B with it. He started playing. So see, I'm hearing a sus there, and then so let's hear that. See, and then I'm not hearing all sus. I would go for I'm hearing a diminished here, and then a sixth here or add two. And this is how I would voice it. But again, this has to be a chord I've played. It has to be a chord that I've played so often that, you know, because if someone plays a C chord and they say, okay, what do you think I'm playing? And you just finished playing a C chord, well then obviously you're going to pick that C chord up because that C chord is part of what you already know. So the emphasis is developing the ear, yes, but the emphasis is also developing the musical vocabulary and making sure that you have a solid bank of chords to pull from, because that's what I'm going to have to use to figure this out with relative pitch, because perfect pitch wouldn't get me that fast. Trust me, relative pitch is faster because you're figuring out chord by chord. Yeah. And I knew this was going to be just a regular major chord. I knew that this was just a D. I heard a major chord here. I just heard it. And I heard the F at the bottom. But I'm hearing that E in there somewhere. Now, whether the E is here or whether the E is here, I really don't know. And in my transcriptions, I make a good guess. You know, it's not. That's why I say it's not 100% accurate. It's 95, right? Because I'm hearing that they're adding the two. But where he added it, top and bottom, you know, that's something that I have to listen to after the fact and then try to get it that way. Okay. Hopefully this has been helpful for you in figuring this one out. Okay. So that looks like that's going to be a D flat major pentatonic scale. So I would probably have him coming on a descending on that pentatonic. Yeah. So that would be here. That's how I'll have him do that. Yeah. And then what is he playing in that left hand there? Yeah, it sounds like he's playing just an E minor. Okay. So yeah. So it'll be, and then he goes down. So he look like he's going for the Lydian here. All right, but anyway, that's kind of showing you how I would look at that. And again, I wouldn't. Do you notice I'm not doing note for note? Like, oh, he's playing an A flat. Oh, I think the next note is an F. I think the next note is an E flat. No, it's what scale is he using? I believe it's, I'm gonna go for the scale I, think that it closely resembles, and move it on. All right, let's look at the next person. Okay, let's go on down. Next person. All right, hey, how you doing, Terrell? Thank you for commenting on my channel. Looks like you just gave a link here. Okay, so let's click this and see what's going on here. Organ videos are very difficult to do. They are much more difficult than doing piano videos, because pianos have a distinct, a much harder attack. When you hit a piano, it's really clear for me. Whereas the organ, the attack on the organ is not going to be the same as a piano. Obviously, there's no velocity, so things can just kind of all flow together. So it makes it for a much more difficult thing to hear. So in this kind of and I'm not going to do the whole thing. We're just going to trying to do portions. Let's look from the beginning and see, but to kind of show you my approach on how I would kind of hear. Again, how would I use my ear to try to learn something like this, or to learn the crazy chords that are in this? Because I want to, I can give you transcriptions all day, but the old proverb, you teach a man how to fish, right? So let's look at this. So, he's doing some crazy stuff there. Okay, so I'm hearing a A flat. I'm hearing that, and then I'm hearing the melody move up, like something like that. So let's hear that. Let's listen for that. So I'll just do that part there. But basically, and he's chording it. Now my ear is hearing a lot of tension. And the reason it's hearing a lot of tension is because he's probably changing the quality of the chord every so often. So if he were not changing the quality of the chord, let's say he was using only minors, so he would be, so we already know he's doing, so it would be, because that's a minor chord, right? And then that's another minor, that's another minor, that's another minor, another minor, another minor. So that would be a more restful sound to my ears, because if he did that, I would hear that restfulness, and I would know, oh, he's not changing the quality, he's just. But if you listen, you hear a sense of tension. Okay. See, you're hearing a bum. I'm hearing that in there. That's not perfect pitch. Tell me that's just me hearing that's just me duplicating the note that I'm hearing. Ba. So I know something is off. I know that he can't be using minors, because if he were using minors, he wouldn't be hitting a G natural. He should be hitting a G flat. Okay, so that one note tells me a lot, because it tells me then that he's going from minors to majors somewhere. Okay? And again, this is theory. This is what I'm using to transcribe. Theory and relative pitch. Okay? Let's do this again here. So I'm hearing. So I'm gonna have him go on a minor here. I'm gonna have him do a minor seventh here, or yeah. And this is where I sometimes I like to hear something in the transcription, so I put it because I don't know what that second chord, whether it's just a straight major or a straight minor. I'm gonna use both. I'm gonna have him do this, which I already know is a D flat major seventh, but contains an F minor and also a C sharp major. I'm gonna have him do both of those. I'm gonna have the first chord be this. I'm gonna have the second chord be this. And instead of having it like this, I'm gonna have this because I'm hearing a distinct change of quality on that third chord. So that's why I'm gonna have him do that. I'm gonna have him go from a major after that, and then I'm gonna have him go back to the minor there, and I'm gonna have him go to that G so I can get that G in. Now this is just my way of making sense of what he played. Okay, this is my way of doing it. Okay, I don't know if you're hearing that. And so what I do when I'm doing a transcription, I'm really not taking. I'm making an educated guess and I'm moving on to the next thing. I'm playing it with him and I move on to the next thing. And then when I listen to it back again, then I make any corrections that need to be made. All right, let me see if there's anything else in the song that I may need to do here. Okay, so I'm gonna pause it and go and see if there's anything else because this is a longer song. So let's see. Let me just keep on going here.
No, Corey, you're doing perfectly fine. Trust me. No, play. Thank you, Lord, for all you've done for me. A flat.
Okay, A flat. So we got a song here. He's using an A. So, and again, I have to hear with my ear, with my relative pitch. So that very first chord that he's playing there is an A major 7 chord, but it's voiced differently. I'm hearing it voiced like that. But again, this is relative pitch. This can be learned. Remember, relative pitch can be taught. Hear that? See? And again, this is not using perfect pitch. I know he's in the key of A flat because that's what they said. Yeah, let's get that part right there. Just to show you guys. See, so that whole phrase there. So he's on the intro. So thank you, Lord, for all you've done for me. He's not there, but the bass is going. Right? And so if you listen to the notes, so he's going, see, he's that, see, and I would expect if he's hitting an A, because that A is not in the chord, that A is not in the key of A flat, right? So I would expect him to do this. Right, which is very basic. It's a basic way to play. But now that he's hitting this, he's hitting A natural. So it only leaves a couple of options. And again, using theory, it only leaves him with playing a diminished there, playing an F chord there using A as its root. those would be my options that I would think, because it's not going to be an A major. That's the only thing that's going to work for me using my theory. Is either diminished or a straight major. So now I listen to it again and I try to hear which one of those is going to be applied for that note in the progression. See, so now perfect. Now that I know the chord and the progression, I can finish it. Okay, so that's what I'm hearing. I wouldn't even use the diminished, because I don't even think he's using diminished at all. Maybe here. So that's how I'm going to voice that. And again, it's just kind of using your ear to figure out those qualities. See, let me get because I'm hearing an F sharp F there. So and then for all on the note, he's on the all note, I'm hearing a E A there. Okay, so that helps me know what those chords are. See, so it's a temporary. He's playing with the harmonics. Or so I'm hearing what the essence of what I'm going for is an E major 9 to with a C sharp on the top to a major 7. So I'm going. So you hear kind of like a temporary harmonic kind of displacement, if I want to call it that. So that's why I said E9, because I heard that in the chord. But the reason I'm not voicing it like that is because the C sharp is on the top during that part, and Quentin, because he's on the organ, he can move, he can have more freedom to do that. So he's probably not even playing that either way I'm playing it, Okay, so something like that. But that's how I would kind of come up with and find out the kind of chords that people are using. In this case, what he's using on that specific line.
Sorry.
Listen to that. Let me hold on. Hear that chord? So tragedy. What's supposed to be played here is that. But why does it sound like that? Why does it sound the way it sounds right now? Is because if you notice, you're hearing a lot of dissonance there. What makes sense for the dissonance? And to me, what makes sense to bring that kind of dissonance in that specific chord is to put and again, I'm not using ear, I'm using relative pitch and theory, is to have a G flat chord mixed with his B flat minor 9 chord and playing it together. That's, to me, what would give that sound. Why? Because it's a sound, that's where I would use that specific sound, so that I have to be familiar with it in order to know what he did.
Sorry.
See? essentially making this really just a G flat major 7 chord, okay, but voicing it the way that I said, a minor and a major, and really adding some dissonance there, giving you the major add 2 there as well, can actually make it so that will be the chord that's referenced. And again, I'm not using perfect pitch, I'm using theory and relative pitch. That's what I'm hearing. And now I'm just playing what I'm hearing, right? So let me pause this.
Let me come.
As I was listening to the song, I was reading these comments.
Oh my God.
I love the YouTube comments. I don't like Facebook so much. YouTube's are more mature. But look at this guy. Yeah, he gives some really good advice. Kareem gives some really good advice about how to play like this. Even so much so that I had to jump in there.
Okay, Corey, all right, all right.
What I encourage you to do is go and try to pick some of these out, because that's what's going to help develop the relative pitch. Alright, let's go back.
Brother, come on.
Alright. Okay, I think we did that one. Did I? No, we did this one. What does Corey do there? I've never heard those chords.
Later on. You take that leg, you take that.
Let me see here. I'm gonna try to get you a minute. I'm gonna try to get you a minute. 1:30 to 2.
Later on. You take that leg, you take that leg.
Alright, he must be talking about those. I think he's talking about those. Okay, so you know, honestly, I don't just listen to whole phrases. I listen to the parts that where it starts to change, I stop it. And so if you listen to the first few chords on that, so okay, so looks like we're in B flat then. All right, so he's in B flat. He's starting on a 7. So yeah, it's just and this one's just walking down. This part here is pretty simple, right? Diminished here, there, and then it sounds like he's about to change this. All right, so let's see what that is. Okay, so let me figure out a key. I think that's B flat. Yeah, we're in B flat. Yeah, so no, I could understand how those how those chords could cause people a lot of frustration, and why probably we don't see a lot of people trying to break down things like that, because it does seem like it can be difficult. However, using relative pitch, as I said before in music theory, we can figure out these chords. I'm gonna try those specific line of chords. All right, so it seems I'm gonna assume that the song he's playing is I shall forever lift mine eyes to Calvary. I think that's what it sounds like at that particular spot of the song. Lucas, you asked for a minute 30 to 2 minutes, so I'm assuming that this is the part you wanted, and it sounds like from there that B flat is being held. All right, so let's see if that's correct here. Yeah. So and then the chords are changing there. So let's see if we could find out what's going on. And I'll tell you what I'm hearing. Again, this is using relative pitch, meaning I'm listening for chordal qualities, and I'm not necessarily listening for individual notes. Because as you can see, I didn't even know what key the song was in without having to do the same thing most people do, which is to figure it out myself. Let's see here. Okay, so those first chords, you can see he's going, and the top note is going. Okay, so honestly, that doesn't leave me much. That doesn't leave me with a lot of options, right? That's only. He's probably doing this, but it's probably happening so fast that it will be hard for the ear to pick that up. But that's going to be my educated guess. Okay, so let's look at that. Okay. See, listening to one note helps me. So the bass is going ba-da-da-da-da. If you listen closely. So that's what you hear on the bass line. Okay, so again, with that bass line, I don't have a lot of choices. The song's in the key of B flat. He's holding a B. He's holding that B. So whatever the bass notes are doing, he's holding the B, but he's in the key of B flat. That gives me two different points of information that I need. The key of B flat tells me, it informs me to help me out with the kind of chords he's playing. But holding the B means that there's only certain chords that will work. Then you've given me a bass line. So it doesn't really have, again, this is a lot of theory, because there's not a lot of chords that are going to work giving that sound that he's doing. Okay, so let me tell you what I'm hearing here. Now he's holding this B, so I'm going to go, so I'm going to do this. Oh, at that last one, I'm gonna hit as a major. All right, so let's see if that works here. He's going fast there. So do you see how fast that happened? But again, it doesn't. This is the way that I would. This is my interpretation of what chords he played, and that's how I would do it. You know. Okay. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna call it for those particular chords there. Okay, so Lucas, hopefully you can use that. I don't have a MIDI file right now. I'm not creating a MIDI file this week due to my schedule. There's just way too many things going on. But hopefully you can pick those notes up from the screen when you saw me play them just now. Let's go to the next one. Eddie Brown, Rhodes solo. But I think at some point I was going to do, I believe this one may be on my list, so I may not do this one. Hamilton. How many more do we have here? We have 4 or 5, so we have a couple. All right, Hamilton. I know this might be weird and unexpected, but in this song, I think the organ solo sounds so by Corey, minute 8:23, and on 9:01.
Google has been our only form of advertising. It seems like it's the only one we're going to need.
You said 8:52, right? Or 8:30. You said 8:30. Okay, it looks like they're trading here. Oh no, you know what? You said minute 9:01. Okay, there it is. Ah, yeah, you were talking about that, weren't you? Yeah, that is. You're right. He does. He does do. That is a move that he does often. Okay, so well, first, when I'm doing songs like this, I'm kind of looking at the pattern. It sounds like in the pattern, they're in C right before there, and then they change the E flat minor. Sounds like they're in C minor. So I don't know. See if you hear it, and then. So he's doing that. And then right before that minute 9 minute and 1 second, they go to the E flat minor. And probably so that's helpful. That's very helpful for me to know. I have to know the context if I'm using relative pitch, because there's no way for me to know what his intended movement was meant to be. So let me make sure that that's right as far as those. See that? Now change. Okay, so. Okay. Okay, so. So he's running over these chords. he does run this in this context. All right, and now let's see what the actual run is. Alright, so yeah, in a run like that, I honestly am guessing. I'm using very, very educated guesses on what I think. You know, he has certain notes that he is emphasizing. If you listen to the run, you'll see certain notes that he's emphasizing. He starts on a C. C. A. You heard that? So the relationship between the C and the A are a minor third. Okay, so not common sense, but the next note that he emphasizes is going to give me a lot of things to work with, depending on what that next note is. And I'm hoping it's an F sharp, because then that means that he is moving down minor thirds. I don't really care about the runs he's doing in the middle. I just need to know what the pattern is in the relationship between those main notes that he's emphasizing. And if we listen to this, we will find it. Here we go. Okay, so it is. All right, so he's emphasizing a minor third relationship. So then we can have him do. I would probably experiment with a bunch of different things. I know he's not doing, because that wouldn't make sense. I don't think he's changing it from an A flat. I think he's doing right. Which would mean I'm going for a major 6 sound. So if I'm going to go for the major 6 sound here, when I change to the A, I'm going to go for the major 6 sound there. So that's what that, and this is how I'm looking at it. And as you can see, it's very logical. It's not so much magical as it is logical. Okay, so if we listen to that. Oh, I need to go back to 901. There it is. Yeah. Right? And but again, using the minor third, using the major 6th concept, which means. And then when he gets to the F sharp, he doesn't go right on that E flat, which is, I'm guessing, would be the next note. See how he's holding that E? So he gives a diminished relation. The relationship between the notes is a diminished relationship. He's not playing a diminished chords, but listen to what I'm saying. The relationship is a diminished relationship, meaning that the notes that he's emphasizing between each of his runs are following a diminished pattern. This is going to help me in trying to figure out what he's doing, because no matter whatever he did for this first movement, whatever the notes are, if it's a major 6 relationship, then I know to apply that to the next note that I end on. Okay, and it's just a matter of finding out that pattern and doing it that way. Okay, this is how we do it without using perfect pitch and using only relative pitch in a mix of some theory there. I'm not, obviously I'm not transcribing this thing. I'm just showing you the way I kind of approach it when I listen to these songs. All right, this may be it. I may not be able to get to all of them today. 6 onward. I asked for a riff. This guy put the whole song here. Let me pick and see which of these I would prefer to do. Let me pause it and C. Look at C. I looked at some of these. Some people didn't follow instructions and put a riff down. They put whole songs. But I looked at some of these. I am really feeling this one here, and I may do this one a little bit later. Sean Martin's. I was asked to transcribe this as a personal one, so it just depends on how that works out. Because if I do that for somebody, then I may end up putting it on there. But I'm not sure. Well, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing, Lewis. Yeah, I'm not allowed to, certain things I'm not allowed to transcribe. I've already done Nick's, and so it looks like this is the one that's left, because this one here, this one is Glenn Gibson, but it's a 6 minute, and he didn't isolate a time period he wanted me to do. So sorry about that, D Walker. So it looks like Sammy D has this one here, Pretty Libby, Dr. John. Let's look at that. From 142 to 208. And thank you, sir. Thank you for the support. 142. Now, let's go over a couple things. What key is this? Using only relative pitch, I'm gonna take a stab that it's a G minor sound. And how am I able to do that without using perfect pitch? Well, because I've been playing notes all day, so pitch memory tells me that is not perfect pitch. That's just remembering the note I last played. That's me remembering from a song. If I'm playing a song in C, here's a song in C. Now here comes this song here. Ba, ba. So I know using relative pitch that is a fifth apart. I know it's a fifth apart from the C. So it's got to be a G minor. That's using intervals and not using perfect pitch. It's not using it because perfect pitch doesn't need a reference point. So I got reference points all over my head because I've been playing all day, right? So I'm going to have reference points in my head if I just, it's just like singing. You got to remember your last note that you sang, because how are you going to sing if you were to forget every single note, right? So you got to have some reference points. So, those reference points are in my head. Now, what time did you say again? 142? I forgot. Sorry about that. 142 to 208. All right, so I'm only focusing on, so in this one's a little bit easier for me simply because the piano is a little bit more straightforward. So it doesn't even depend that I can't hear I can't see his hands. The fact that the piano is very straightforward makes it easy for me. I can hear this. Right? Because what I'm hearing is I hear the 2-5-1 relationship. I hear that the next note is the second note after the G. I hear the D and I hear the G. But I'm not hearing it in perfect pitch. I'm hearing the relationship between the root. So that's relative pitch. That tells me what those notes are. Hey, see that? See? Okay, so that's my left hand. All right, so that helps me out. Now it looks like he's playing around with a G. So he's playing around with a G. He's playing around with the G blues. Let's see what he's doing here. something like that, right? And again, this is just me playing with it. I really think that you know, being able to hear, once you know what the key is, there's not going to be a lot of different notes you can do. You can hear that it's not a major key. You hear it's a minor key. So if I use the minor scale, so, and it's got to be one of those notes, you know. Okay, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this because I've done so many songs and I'm tired and I'm hungry. Okay. Okay, so that's what I'm hearing. And this one is hard to teach because it's just, I just hear them much easier.